Hey guys, what up, what up? I think I'm going to try something a little bit different today. I am holding a tripod. This is really not comfortable, by the way. I'm holding a tripod. I need a mirror so I can show you guys. Here's one in here. I'm holding the camera on a tripod because I don't have one of those adjustable arm ones, and I figured I would try. I need to make use of this camera. So what I want to talk about today, or right now, is that as an E92 M3 owner, there are a couple things that you are going to be made aware of. Rod bearings being the first and foremost, right? The other thing, and wait for the garage door to open. Squeaky, right? The other thing that you should know about is that the under trays of these cars get bashed up all the time, and they're expensive to replace. Today, under braking, I heard a noise, and oh man, this thing's getting heavy. I'm gonna set up the tripod right quick. Wow! There we go. Oh. Yeah, so I heard some noises under braking, and actually I can already see what it is. Underneath the front of the bumper, there are three, two end quarter panels and one big under tray, and the two side ones I think are made of felt, and they just break and fall off. So then you get one flopping down, and it makes noise under braking, or if you go over a speed bump or whatever, and eventually I think it's going to get ripped off. So I don't want it being ripped off. So problem on this one here, I'll actually show you. There we go. Can I zoom in here? Okay, you see it? There's the bottom piece there. The bottom piece there is what's broken. And if we compare that to the other side, it's okay. Yeah, I know the bottom of my bumper is effed, but whatever. I drive it every day. So there's that. Here's the other thing that that's bothering me lately, and it's not any fault of BMW's. It's that I've got the race hardware on these rotors in here, and if I zoom in, it's those attachments, and what it does is it allows the rotor, the disc, and so the friction disc, the actual clamping, the shiny metal piece that the calipers, brake pads actually clamp onto, that's the friction disc. So because the friction disc and the hats are made of two different materials, one is aluminum and the other is whatever the friction disc is made out of, they expand at different rates. So with race hardware, rather than being a tight connection, it's an oblong connection, and the bolts that are in there allow the expansion of the two different metals to expand at different rates. And what that does is, well, damn, I don't actually know exactly what that does off the top of my head. But anyway, it's full race hardware. And the point I'm trying to make is that on the street, the shit's kind of noisy because it goes clank, 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 clank as the disc itself, the friction disc, kind of wiggles slightly up and down. So it sounds like metal's constantly going and bouncing around, which is annoying. It sounds like a knocking noise, like there's something loose in the suspension. And I've confirmed it before by taking off the wheel and actually lifting the rotor up and down, and you can hear the knocking noise. So, you know what? I'm going to demonstrate that now. Okay, just got out my jack, and God, I hate this crappy steel Craftsman jack. It's I mean, it works, but it's got the small lift pad, which reminds me I really got to buy another one. And after I jack it up, I use a spare wheel. I use a spare wheel to put it underneath, like that, just in case something happens. And then I use this. I just use this rigid impact wrench that my wife got me with some cheap impacts. I think they were from, these might have been from Pet Boys for all I remember. And crack them off. 1, 2. And take the wheel off. We'll just put it. We'll put it. I'll roll it in front of the car. Okay guys, so looking at the brake hardware, this is the StopTech ST60 kit with the race hardware. Now I bought this used. I didn't opt for the race hardware. The kit I bought already had it installed, and it makes some noise on the street. So I'm going to go ahead and demonstrate what that noise sounds like. Without actually seeing it, my best description would be a knocking noise on the front of the car that sounds like suspension is loose. However, and you can hear I'm moving the rotor here, and you don't, oh, did you hear that? Imagine that sound as you're driving, like this. So what's happening is that the hat that's made out of aluminum is attached to the friction disc, which is probably, you know, steel, iron, something or other. And there are these, the hardware that attaches it isn't tight. It allows it to play so that there's no binding of the two different materials when the temperatures get high, right? So that's the whole point of floating hardware, is to allow the expansion of the two different aluminums to, well, expand freely without binding. And on the race car, that's perfectly fine. On a street car, it also works. However, if you do have it on a street car, you're going to drive around hearing this. Now multiply that by 2, or if you have a full kit, 4. So I'm thinking about seeing what can be done about removing the race hardware. I don't know if I need to get new hats and new rotors, new friction discs, or if it's just a matter of swapping out the hardware. I'm really not sure on that. So if you are familiar with StopTech ST60 kits and the race hardware options, or if you have a StopTech ST60 kit with reasonably new friction discs or rotors and just would like to swap with me, leave me a note. Maybe we can work something out. All right, guys, so just to recap in this quick little video, let me take this off here. We talked about the flappy under tray here that I kind of tucked it back up and away, but you can see here, yeah, that's no fun. I might try to zip tie it back together or something. And the rotors with floating hardware. All right, guys, I got to put this thing back together and go back inside. Thanks for watching. See ya.